Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, from Eric Lima Shenanigans of 1977. It's Friday, and you know what that means. It's time for the weekly SmackDown Event Center report. And now here's the man that will bring you the happenings on WWE SmackDown every Friday night, Mr. Eric M. Lima.
Thank you very much, Mr. Announcer, for that wonderful intro. Good morning, everyone, and welcome to yet another episode of Eric Lima Shenanigans of 1977, episode number 2302, and this is the SmackDown Event Center report from last night, the final SmackDown before Worlds Collide, and Money in the Bank. That's right, today is June 7, 2025, 9:02 a.m. As you know, obviously, I have Saturdays off now, so I am very, very pleased to decide to give you these reports. And as part of my Shenanigans show, and I hope you guys are having a very blessed, I hope you guys are waking up this morning feeling very blessed. Had your breakfast and you have smiles on your faces, you're ready to take on the day. If you have the day off, just sit down and relax, and I know it's going to be a bit yucky here. It's like, the fifth Saturday in a row is going to rain? Like, how many Saturdays in a row has it been raining over here? And I'll tell you what, it's pretty insane, but whatever, hopefully, let's look at this keeps up, man. It seems like to me that, we might see the Wellness City Festival and the Portuguese Feast kind of like, postponed, so to speak. But, yeah, we're getting sick of the rain every single Saturday. Like, let's go out and let's go some Saturdays and have some fun, you know what I mean? So, anyways, we got to get going and talk about what happened on SmackDown last night. And like I said, due to time constraints, because against all odds, TNA Against All Odds, the pay-per-view, lasted almost 1 o'clock in the morning because the time zone's a little different. Because it happened in Arizona, where one of my good friends of the network community, Mr. Romy, lives over there in Arizona. But, like I said, the time zone's a little different. So, that's why it ended earlier here in the Eastern Time. Well, Seth Rollins, Braun Breaker, and Bronson Reed kick off SmackDown along with Paul Heyman. It seems like Seth Rollins is sending a message to everybody in the Money in the Bank that no one's going to stand in his way. It seems like he wants to be the champ and everything else. This is going to be a collision course unlike any other. But then Solo Sikoa, Jacob Fatu, and JC Madeo interrupting Rollins and we're the team now. This is our turf, and it seems like some gang warfare may be down the road in the WWE, possibly Survivor Series. I know there's a lot of stuff going on in the WWE behind the scenes. Well, as releases, a lot of people are upset that R-Truth got released, and for a future episode on my show. And for to do a top of the Shenanigans chart, I'm going to try to find my personal top 10 favorite R-Truth moments. And I think in the WWE, and I'm sure we all have plenty, but the top 10 is very hard to pick out for me. So I'm going to try to do that. And I know it's some at the top of my head with some of those moments, but at the same time, I want to make sure I get them all together one of these days and just, present it to you guys. So, however, Jimmy Uso comes out to face JC Mateo, and because of miscommunication, because these like Solo Sikoa is trying to suppress Jacob Fatu a little bit, and you're going to see more of that. And JC Mateo and him had a miscommunication, and it cost JC Mateo the matchup, as Jimmy Uso did pick up the victory. And then Zelina Vega talking to Julia, and she told basically Zelina Vega told Julia, "Hey, you want this title? Come on, but I'm keeping this title." So that got Julia something to think about. Damian Priest talking to Jacob Fatu, saying, "Listen, I've been there, being betrayed by family. I've been there with the Judgment Day, but that doesn't mean I'm still not coming after your title." And Jacob Fatu understood that because I mean. So they had a Bakersfield brawl, as you know. It would have been Zelina Vega and Chelsea Green, but Chelsea Green not going not cleared to compete because she had a busted up nose. So Piper Niven took on the role, and it was no disqualification. His biggest fear of brawl, and then Julia gets involved during the matchup, giving Zelina Vega the victory. And as Julia gives props to Zelina Vega, he clotheslines her, holds up the title, says, "I'm coming after this." So Julia is sending a message to Zelina Vega. So, you know what I gotta do too. Now that I think about it, got my own pad. Picks and predictions for both events will be coming up next. By the way, just to let you know, after I'm done with the SmackDown bit. Cody Rhodes and Jimmy Uso was talking to Jey Uso. Jey Uso's, "I'm fine. Let's get things going." And they nod their head and yeeting and all that. And then Aleister Black addresses LA Knight, and LA Knight does respond to Black and to the before the matchup and to his Money in the Bank opponents. LA Knight went on one-on-one with Aleister Black. Match was going pretty good until Seth Rollins gets involved. Curb stomps LA Knight, giving Knight the win by disqualification. And then Bronson Reed and Braun Breaker try to do their work on LA Knight, and then all of a sudden Aleister Black stood up. They tossed him out of the way. I'll tell you one thing, Seth Rollins is going to make a lot of enemies in that Money in the Bank ladder match. They're going to start beating the you-know-what out of him. I know he's got Bronson Reed and Braun Breaker backing him up. They're going to get themselves some too as well. And then, so there's that, and Seth Rollins sending a message, I think trying to incapacitate all of his opponents before Money in the Bank tonight. Now, coming up next after Money in the Bank is another opportunity to get a championship matchup. The King and the Queen and Queen of the Ring tournament will be happening right afterwards, starting next week, starting Monday Night Raw. And this is how it's going to go down. There'll be 4 fatal 4-way matches on both men's and women's side. 2 for both SmackDown, men and women. 2 each for the men and women on Monday Night Raw. The winners of those fatal 4-way matches will go at it in a dual-branded semifinals. And then the finals will take place at Night of Champions in Riyadh, Saudi Arabia. I know a lot of people are not very happy about the location and all that, but, you know, a deal's a deal. What can you do? You know, you got to understand there's a business. It's also a business going on there. You know, I know there's morals and all that, and it sucks, I know, but it is what it is. But, you know, it's like, you know, here's the problem with wrestling fans nowadays. They're all so whiny. They whine about everything. I mean, why don't you be an old school fan? Just enjoy the product, all right? Yes, we're sad that our favorite wrestlers got released from the company that we grew up watching and all that. I get it, but come on. Come on, you know? People, wrestlers are human beings too. They got, you know, it's hard to be a wrestling fan nowadays because of all the crap that's been going on. We got fans stalking female wrestlers. You got fans being upset that this wrestler got released and all that. Can I just enjoy wrestling without complaining? Come on, you complain about, oh, they're digging a deal with Saudi Arabia because they killed some reporter. Leave politics out of it, please. Just, yeah. I really don't know. I'm not defending Saudi Arabia or anything like that, you know. Can we just enjoy wrestling without actually, you know, I should challenge every wrestling fan out there to go at least 1 week, 1 whole week without complaining about anything happening in AEW, WWE, TNA. Just kayfabe like you're going against the heels and all that. Just not actually complain about what goes behind the scenes. Just for 1 week challenge. Just sort of challenge. I'm not betting anything. I'm not going to put anything on the line. Just a 1 week challenge. And if you can do that, you're a great. I'm going to acknowledge you as a great wrestling fan. If you don't, guess what? You get nothing from me. No acknowledgement from me. So, and y'all not Roman Reigns. So don't ask me to acknowledge you. And I'm not Paul Heyman either. Bunch of dinguses out there. Let me tell you. Where was I? I went off on a tangent because of the King of the Ring thing. Byron Saxton interviewed Jade Cargill, and Jade Cargill says she's looking forward to the Queen of the Ring tournament, where she ends up. As you know, the winner of the tournaments will get a title shot from the top champion of their respective brand at SummerSlam. So I like that. That's why I like the King of the Ring tournament. That's what it should have been. Like the Royal Rumble, the winner gets a shot at WrestleMania for the main event and the championship. Why not here too? You know, King of the Ring. Winner gets the King of the Ring tournament, gets a shot at SummerSlam. Shot at the main event in SummerSlam. Simple enough. Byron Saxton interviewed Jade Cargill, who is looking forward. Who is looking forward to trying to see if she can be Queen of the Ring. Charlotte Flair interrupts her. And people want to see this matchup because both women are athletic and all that. And she said you better have some friends and all that, but there's only one queen in town. I got a feeling that Jade Cargill and Charlotte Flair are going to feud down the road, possibly by next WrestleMania. I got a weird feeling about that, but whatever. And then Tiffany Stratton interviews both ladies and wishes them good luck. And then Legado del Fantasma as Legado del Fantasma addresses the Worlds Collide as they face the team of El Hijo del Wagner Jr. or Santos interpreted it in English, Dr. Wagner III. I like that. Dr. Wagner III, Pagano, and Psycho Clown. And so that is a huge, that's a humongous deal, man. Let me tell you, that is a huge, good matchup. It's going to be a great matchup overall. So they said, we're doing it for Familia. Meanwhile, Byron Saxton interviewed American Made, and that's Chad Gable and the Creed brothers. But then Andrade and Penta interrupted them. Gold steps in and said, hey, you want to settle this? Yeah, you want to settle this? We'll make it a tag match tonight. And you know what? I think El Grande Americano, a.k.a. Chad Gable, better watch his back. So, and so Tiffany Stratton addresses the Bakersfield crowd. Rhea Ripley interrupts Tiffany Stratton. Then Stephanie McCare interrupts both ladies. And then it led to the 6-woman tag as Rhea Ripley, Stephanie McCare, and Alexa Bliss joining forces. That's an international team right there. Rhea Ripley from Australia, Stephanie McCare from Chile, and Alexa Bliss from America. Let me tell you something. The WWE has been on fire though, signing these internationally talented women wrestlers. First, you got Stephanie McCare from Chile, and then Julia comes over from Japan. Then you got Jordan Grace from the good old state of Texas. And recently, Mariah May from England. Come on. WWE at least are on fire with the women's division on all three brands. They went up against Julia, Naomi, and Roxanne Perez. And Ripley, Vaquer, and Bliss ended up winning that matchup. Meanwhile, Solo Sikoa tries to reason with JC Mateo because he's upset with... JC Mateo was upset with Jacob Fatu. Said, hey, he's stupid. And I'm going, what the heck? That's his own relative he was dissing. And Jacob Fatu was listening in on the whole convo. Holy Christmas. Solo Sikoa is in trouble tonight at Money in the Bank. Because I think Jacob Fatu is going to cost Solo Sikoa. You don't insult your uncle, man. I think that's your uncle or cousin, I think. Big mistake, Solo. Big mistake. A little brother needs to learn, man. Had he not betrayed his brothers, he would have listened. He would have done the right thing. So, anyways, Bo Dallas, a.k.a. Uncle Howdy, addresses the tag team division. And it looks like we're not going to stop until we get what we want. What we're owed. It seems like they want to be... Wyatt 6 want to hold the tag team titles. Question is which 2 of the 4 members of the Wyatt 6 will get that shot. And the entire tag team division, the Champs and Street Profits, Fraxium, Motor City Machine Guns, and DIY. Now, we haven't heard much from Pretty Deadly. They've been off television for quite a while. I think it was an injury. I think they suffered an injury, I think. Anyways. Might I digress. I'm hoping they're not released either, because I think they're a very entertaining team. And they were talking about the tag team Nick Aldis is, hey, Nick Aldis, So, Penta and Andrade faced the Creed brothers, and in attendance, the new AAA Megas champion, El Hijo del Vikingo, who will be defending the title against Chad Gable this afternoon at Worlds Collide. And during the matchup, Chad Gable tried to get involved, and the Vikingo saw that, and he decided, I'm going after Chad Gable. That distracted the Creed brothers and giving Penta and Andrade the victory. As Penta and Andrade was celebrating, here comes the Three Stooges once again. Rollins, Reed, and Breaker. And they were attacking all around. They were attacking them, and then Heyman addresses the Bakersfield crowd after the matchup. And the Vanguard. You know what? He called them the Vanguard. I think that should be their stable name, the Vanguard. That word is rarely used. Why not the Vanguard? That's what Seth Rollins should be called, and his team should be called. Meanwhile, Cody Rhodes interrupts Heyman and company, and then here comes Jey Uso. Comes out, gets a little young fan in his arms and starts eating with that young fan. It was really cool moment, and they were in the ring, and then all of a sudden, as they were addressing John Cena and Logan Paul for tonight's Money in the Bank, John Cena and Logan Paul will come out and ambushes them, attacks them, and holds up the belts, and Cena rips the Bakersfield crowd, saying, "We want truth," and they were chanting "Our truth," and John Cena turned it around on the fans and said, "You want the truth, you can't handle the truth," and all that, and they end up holding the belts in the end. Will Logan Paul be World Heavyweight Champion? Says this is your future. So that's it for the SmackDown Event Center report. So let's go with the picks and predictions for Money in the Bank and Worlds Collide. So let's start with Worlds Collide first, because that comes on this afternoon. Legado del Fantasma, that's the team of Los Garza, Angel Umberto, and Santos Escobar, facing Dr. Wagner III, Pagano, and Psycho Clown. Basically, El Hijo de Wagner Jr., Dr. Wagner III as Santos Escobar. Thank you, Santos, for that interpretation. Going against Dr. Wagner III, Pagano, Psycho Clown. I picked Dr. Wagner III, Pagano, and Psycho Clown to win that matchup. El Hijo de Vikingo defends the AAA Megas Championship against Chad Gable. I say Vikingo retains. Then the North American title on the line. It's Ethan Page goes against three high flyers. You got Javon Evans, that boy bouncy. And you got Ray Phoenix from SmackDown and Laredo Kid from AAA and TNA Impact. I'm picking Ethan Page to retain the title. And the V-Girls, as I like to call them, Stephanie Vaquer and Lola Vice, facing the team of Chick Tormenta and Dalise. I picked Vaquer and Vice, the V-Girls, to win the matchup. And then the LWO, that will be Crows Del Toro and Dragon Lee. And Lindsay Dorado, subbing in for the injured Joaquin Wilde, will face Aerostar, Mr. Iguana Octagon Jr. I go LWO and Lindsay Dorado. Even though I like... let's get Mr. Iguana Jr. to be on a WWE program, because with his pet puppet lizard Yeska, and I figured that guy must be entertaining. Let's get him. Let's get him on board. All right. Oh, we're not done yet, because we'll get the Money in the Bank picks and predictions. So, work with me here for just a second. And the men's Money in the Bank, that would be LA Knight, Andrade, Solo Sikoa, Seth Rollins. All right. LA Knight, Andrade, Solo Sikoa, Seth Rollins, Penta, and El Grande Americano in that matchup. And I have picked Penta to win that matchup. Women's Money in the Bank, the 6 women that you saw in 6-woman tag. Julia, Naomi, and Roxanne Perez, and Rhea Ripley, Stephanie Vaquer, and Alexa Bliss. I picked Julia to win the matchup, but she might not win, because I think she'll probably target Zelina Vega for the Women's United States title. Rose and Uso versus Cena and Paul. I picked Rose and Uso to win the match. And then for the third time, the Women's Intercontinental title on the line. Via Valkyria defends it against Becky Lynch. I say Becky Lynch finally claims that title. I love Via Valkyria. Very sweet young lady. Bright future ahead of her. But Becky Lynch has been wanting that championship, and she and I think Becky Lynch is due, and it could end up meaning a feud with Bayley down the road. We'll see what happens. Well, that is it for episode 2302 of Eric Lima Shenanigans 1977, the SmackDown Event Center for yesterday, last night, June the 6th, 2025. Final SmackDown before Worlds Collide and Money in the Bank. Really excited about it. So, I will see you later, and the next episode will be TNA's Against All Odds results.
That is all for today's episode of the show. This is Mr. Announcer speaking for Eric Lima Shenanigans of 1977. A Big Beefy E and do it for Bob Saget production, and in association with a Raving Bull for 3000 Telepictures and Distribution. Thank you for watching another episode of Eric Lima Shenanigans of 1977. See you later on the next episode of the show. Goodbye for now.